Hello, my friends, and welcome to this quick revision in your favorite subject, chemistry. In this class, we are going to answer the following question. Do all the atoms of the same element have the same number of neutrons? Well, allow me before I answer this question to revise the information we have so far taken in the previous 6 videos. Well, we started with the atomic structure. We defined the atom as the smallest part of a chemical matter that cannot be divided into two identical parts. Then we said that if we want to study the atomic structure, we have to concentrate on two main parts in the atom. The first one is called the nucleus, which is in the center of the atom and includes two main types of particles. The first type is called positive protons, the other one is called neutrons, and we said that all of those can be called nucleons. Then we said that the other part is called the electronic shells or energy levels, and they include only negative electrons. Then we said if we want to represent any atom in the world, we can use this general form. This general form has three numbers and inside 1 or 2 letters. Here the symbol of the atom. Here Z is the atomic number, which represents the number of protons inside the nucleus. And here we have the atomic mass, which represents the number of protons and neutrons together inside the nucleus. And we said that we call it the atomic mass because generally more than 99.99% of the mass of the whole atom concentrates in its nucleus, because the electrons are very, very light if you compare them to the other components in the nucleus. Then we said that this is the charge number, and it refers to the number of electrons lost or gained by the atom. And we said if the atom gains 1 or more electrons, it's not going to be called a neutral atom anymore, and it's called monoatomic anion or negative ion. And if it loses 1 or more electrons, it's going to be called a cation or a positive monoatomic ion. Then we said that a group of atoms share the same number of protons inside their nuclei and go through the same types of reactions are called the elements. And we said that every element, if we take every element in isolation and we study its atoms, we are going to see that all of them share the same atomic number or the number of protons inside their nuclei. We talked about iron, and we said that all iron atoms in the world have 26 protons inside their nuclei. And then we compared iron with gold, and we said that gold is different from iron because every one of them has its own number of protons or its own atomic number. Now, my friends, after we have learned that all the atoms in the world that share the same atomic number or number of protons are called one element, and they are different from the other elements because every element has its own atomic number or number of protons inside its nuclei, let's answer the question. Okay, the question is, do all the atoms of the same element have the same number of neutrons? Well, the answer to this question is very simple, and it is of one word. The answer is no. This is the short answer. If you want a longer answer, I will say that no, it is not necessarily for all of the atoms of the same element to have the same number of neutrons. Generally, they have different numbers of neutrons. Let me give you an example here. I take oxygen atom. This is the oxygen atom. We have 3 options. or 3 possibilities. The possibility number 1 is 8, 8, 8. Why have I written 8 quickly? Because as we said, my friends, all of the atoms of the same element share the same number of protons. In here, how can I calculate the number of neutrons? Yes, I should subtract the number of protons from the number of protons and neutrons together. And you're going to see that here we have 8 neutrons, here 9, and we have here 10 neutrons. So the answer is no, not all of the atoms of the same element have the same number of neutrons. So what do we call this phenomenon? What do we call atoms that have the same number of protons but different numbers of neutrons, or different mass number? Actually, we call them isotopes. And the general form of isotopes is X, Y, Z, and we can use other ones if we want, but we here should concentrate on this fact that all of them have the same number of, yes, number of protons or atomic number, but they have, for example, different mass numbers. Now, a simple question a student asked me, teacher, why did you say they have different mass number? You say, teacher, that they have different numbers of neutrons, not mass. So I will ask you, what is the mass number? The mass number is the number of protons and neutrons together. So if the number of, all of them have the same number of protons and they have different numbers of neutrons, yes, the mass number will be affected and will be changed. Another example, my friends, I can give you now is, the other example is the carbon. And as you see here, we have 4 isotopes of carbon. And why do we call them isotopes? Because they have the same number of protons, the atomic number, and different number of neutrons or mass number. Here we have 6, 6, 6, 6 protons, and we have here 5, 6, 7, and 8. A student asked me last class, teacher, do all of the elements in the periodic table have isotopes? I can say yes, 99%, of course. Some isotopes, by the way, can be found in the nature, and the others can be made by humans. Now, my friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my class. Thank you so much for paying attention to what I have been explaining. If you don't understand, please repeat this video from the beginning. And now, before I say goodbye to you, let me write on the board your homework, and I hope you're going to solve it and you try to check it with me in the next class. Thank you again, my friends, and see you goodbye. See you in another time.